So how about some Halloween prepping? Are you ready for that? Another thing I want to do is to teach you or show you two techniques called Mika. Okay, Mika is here and he's distracting me, so just so you know, I don't know if you could see him. Hi Mika. I have two techniques I want to show you called flubber and frommel. That's the one. And I also have some new friends I want you to meet. Besides Mika, I have some more friends that are dying to meet you. So, well, let's just get started. What do you think, Mika? Shall we get started? Yay. Oh. Okay, let's get started. So first I'm going to grab some Oxide inks, and as I'm working on a Halloween theme, I'm going to use some Halloween-ish colors. Let's start with a flubber smooch, and for that I'm going to use some plastic wrap. So I start by applying some of the color to my plastic, just by pressing the ink pad straight to the plastic. I'm working with 3 colors here, and I just add them next to each other. And once I've added all my colors, I spray some water. You don't want a lot of water, you don't want it dripping, you just want a little mist of water on top. And because it's a good thing to work as fast as you can, have your paper or whatever you want to work on ready before you start. That's a good thing because now it's a little bit soggy, but I'm just turning over my plastic on my art journal and then I'm going to press it down, and this still works. But when you have your card or journal underneath your plastic, you can work a little bit faster. But just turn your plastic over and then press on the plastic. And this is basically the flubber smooch technique, because you're not working with a sturdy kind of plastic but with a flubbery kind of plastic. So this is totally flimsy, and that will give you some wonderful texture as well as lots of color. And then you can use the ink that is still on that plastic to create another background. You know me, I always do that 2-4, 3-4 and so on and so on. Because that ink was almost dry, I can add another layer on top in a different color to add a bit more color to that background, so there's less white showing. Another thing I've tried that didn't work as well is adding color straight to the card with the ink pad. And then I took my plastic wrap and frommeled it into a ball, which would be the frommel technique. But as you can see, this is not working really well because a bit of ink is coming off, but there's not much texture appearing on that card where I added my color. So I'm lifting some of that color and I can put that on another card to clean the plastic wrap as well, but it's not working. So, well, let's just ditch that technique because it's a lot of work and there's not much of a result. But first let me introduce you to my new friends. This is Benny Bat, he's the first one I'm going to show you. And he loves hanging out with friends, upside down of course, because he's a bat. And while I'm coloring him really fast, I'm going to show you his other friends. The first one is Betty Boo. Now she's a bit of a diva, but in a really good way, because she's also a very caring and a gentle bat. And then we have Baby Bat. Baby Bat is the youngest of them all. She's super curious, with those big eyes staring into the world, wondering what adventure is waiting for her to happen. And then we have Bumblebat. Bumblebat is also cute, but a little bit mischievous. She loves to play with other friends and is always ready to meet new ones. So if you want to play with Bumblebat and her Betty friends, then you can check them out in my Gumroad store. I have a link to them in the description box below this video. So I'm going to give the frommel technique another try, attempt number 2. So I'm going to add some ink to the plastic wrap again. I'm using 2 colors and they are both cool colors, so they don't fight, so to speak, so you don't get a muddy thing. And in case there's a little bit of the different color on your ink pad, that's no problem, because with the Oxide inks you can wipe it off easily. Then I spray a little bit of water on it, just a mist. Don't soak the thing, just a little mist of water is enough. Then I'm going to frommel it up from the outside working in, bringing it sort of together in the middle, but not totally. And then I'm going to push it upside down on my card. And this will give you some really fun texture again, with those different colors mixed together. And while you are adding your color, you can move the plastic again. And if needed, you can spray some more water to activate that ink again. And I'm filling up a little bit of this open white spaces, not all of them, because I'm leaving some white this time. Which is so brave of me, I think. And with the plastic that you have left, you can always make another background, just like the one we did before. I wanted to give that adding ink direct to paper with the ink pad another try. So I'm adding some ink colors to 2 pages in my art journal. So I'm filling my background pretty much with those Halloween-ish kind of colors. And then I have my plastic wrap again, and this one was with the little bit of the purple on it still. And I'm spraying some water on it. And then I'm going to frommel it up and turn it over again on my page. And this will give you some really pretty texture again, in a very simple way. And because the ink is reactive to water, you pick up some ink and you add some ink and you pick some up at the same time, which will save you so much time. I don't know if that's true, but it will give you some really gorgeous texture and a lot of color to the background. You can also do the same thing to just one page, then do the same frommel technique to add some texture there and to activate the Oxide ink as well. You can do that at the same time. And then when the right side is done, you can just close your art journal, press on it and then open it again. And that will give you 2 colored pages in one take. And this will also give you some really pretty colored fingers. And in case you're wondering, does this work with sprays as well? And the good news is it does, because you just spray your ink on the plastic, like you add your ink with the ink pad, and then spray a little bit of water. You just need a tiny bit because the ink spray is already wet. And then you just turn it over and color your card or page or whatever you want to color. If you take a bigger sheet, then you can color a bigger piece at once and you can cut that into pieces or use it in a bigger way or however you fancy. And then I promised you a fast background. Now, really, was it just clickbait? Well, let's just check it. I have my timer ready and I'm going to press it and then I'm going to start. I'm going to use my ink sprays because that's the fastest way. And then I'm going to turn the plastic wrap over and press it on my card. I added a few times on the background so I have color all over. Of course, I want a nice color textured background also for a test. And I forgot to turn off my timer, but I think it stopped at somewhere 38 or 39 seconds. Well, let's say it was 40 seconds. In 40 seconds you can make a really pretty colored background. Now, that's pretty fast, isn't it? And of course that frommel technique is taking a little bit longer because you have to frommel up the plastic and you also have to press it down and lift it a few times. But it's also another pretty fast technique. And in real time this took about a minute, so it's not that much longer. So let's get back to the little bats. I gave Betty Boo a mat out of purple cardstock. And then I made a card out of purple cardstock with 2 layers of orange cardstock and a textured background with Betty Boo on top and a fun sentiment. And Benny is hanging on the other card on 2 layers of the textured cardstock. Another way you can use your color textured cardstock is to use it for die cutting. I used one of my colored pages to add a border of the greenery cut out of orange. Is it still greenery then? Well, anyway. And there I've added Baby Bat with a simple sentiment. Just a simple page and sometimes that's totally enough. She looks very happy on this page. So now you have 2 techniques you can try to make fast and pretty textured backgrounds, and you can also practice pronouncing frommel and flubber. Flubber won't be that hard. There was a movie called Flubber, wasn't there? Anyway, flubber and frommel, so you can practice that too. And all the new bat friends are waiting for you in the Gumroad store, and they are very patient. They are very patiently waiting for you to check them out, and they are dying to meet you, so make sure to pay them a visit and, well, have some fun making cards and get Halloween prepped in time. I don't think there's anything left more to say than make sure to keep on crafting,